The Karate Kid, Thriller. I'm gonna do this challenge legit. Story number 1. So the summer after 6th grade, I went to a friend's birthday party in her new house. Her parents had just moved into this big new house in this new development where the houses were still being built. And at some point in the course of the party, some of the other girls and I decided to go outside and go into the woods that were behind the house. So we all go outside, we go walking in the woods all by ourselves, all scared 13-year-old girls, and we get partway in and then we see something lying on the ground, kind of stuck into the ground. And we go over to investigate and it's a frickin' sword. Or we called it a sword, it looked like a sword, it was probably not an actual sword, but it was pretty frickin' big for a knife. It was probably at least this big, if not bigger. And we all just stared at it and we were kind of freaking out, like who would just leave a sword in the middle of the woods? And it was all rusty and it kind of looked like it had blood on it, and of course the other girls were freaking out because it has blood on it, it's been used in a murder or something, although I highly doubted that it was actually blood on the thing, hopefully. So it was this whole big to-do, we were all standing out there, a bunch of 13-year-old girls all by ourselves in the middle of the woods, and we were like, if there's somebody here who left this here, we should probably go. But before we went, somebody picked up the sword and decided we would take it with us out of the woods and back into this suburban wonderland development. So for whatever reason, we brought this frickin' big rusty knife out of the woods with us, and then when we got into the backyard we were like, what do we do with this now? And right next door to my friend's house there was a house that was still being built. It was just the foundation had been laid, or like the foundation for the basement. So we decided that we would take the knife over to that foundation and just hide it somewhere in the foundation of the house. We found some kind of crevice or some space in between the wall where the wall was going to be or something, and covered it up, and just left this giant knife in the foundation of this house that was being built. And then we just never talked about it again. So either some builder found it and had to figure out what to do with this honking big rusty knife sword, or they didn't see it and they kept building the house, and I would like to think that there's some suburban family living in that house now, not knowing that there's a giant knife in their wall in the basement somewhere. Story number 2. So when I was in college, we had a couple of secret societies. The biggest one was called the Shifters, but they were kind of semi-secret because everybody knew about them, and they would sometimes parade around campus whistling and doing weird things. So my sophomore year of college, it was late at night, it was after midnight, and my roommate and I were already in bed because we were those kinds of people, and I was trying to get to sleep, and then I hear this sort of tapping, kind of rattling at the window, like somebody was outside kind of lightly banging on it. And I'm just lying there for a second, kind of watching, because I can sort of see movement through the slits in the blinds, like there's somebody outside our window doing something, and this rattling kind of banging noise keeps continuing for a while. So I just lie there for a little while, and it seems to go on for a few minutes, but then it stops and it's quiet again, and after a long time I'm finally able to get to sleep. But when I wake up the next morning and I open up the blinds, on the window somebody has drawn in red marker or paint or something this big creature. It's like, I don't even know what it's supposed to be. It looks like a 3rd grader drew it. It's got like giant cartoon eyes and a long pointy nose. I thought it looked kind of like a wolf. My roommate said it looked like a bird. I don't know what it was supposed to be, but it was taking up like the whole right side of the window and just staring at us. It was really creepy looking. And it turned out that a couple other rooms on our floor also had things drawn on their windows. One room actually had a pretty decent drawing of Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. Apparently there were some other buildings on campus that had been kind of vandalized in this way. But the prevailing theory here was that it was the Shifters who were behind it, especially because of the Piglet drawing, because there was, one of the rumors was that the Shifters recruited people who dressed like characters from Winnie the Pooh or something weird like that. But it became this whole hurrah the next morning when everybody saw all these vandalized buildings, and there were rumors that the Shifters were going to be disbanded and that certain people had been caught and suspended and arrested and all this stuff. And I don't even know what was going on, but you know, not long after that I saw the shifters parading around doing their normal thing, so I really don't think anything happened. But whatever kind of marker or paint they used was like semi-permanent, so we tried to get it off our windows, but we were only able to like chip little bits away, so we had to wait, and it took like 2 days or like a day and a half. So for like a day and a half we had this giant cartoon 3rd grade drawing looking wolf bird thing just on our window staring at us, and my roommate didn't want to stay in the room for that long because she said it creeped her out. But after about 2 days, day and a half, they finally got the facilities maintenance people to come with their like industrial strength solvent and clean it off. But for that brief amount of time, we were just being watched all the time by this mysterious creature. That was about as interesting as things got for me in college. So, which story is true? I will tell you. It was the first one. Yes, we really did find a big frickin' sword knife in the woods, and we hid it in somebody's house, where it may still be today. Who knows? I would like to think that it is. But that second story was complete crap. The part about the secret society was true. We did have a secret society called the Shifters, and they would wear big paper clips and safety pins, and they would walk around in this circuit. They would parade around in a line and whistle, "You are my sunshine," and hold their thumbs out, and occasionally they would yell, "Hail Caesar!" And the Winnie the Pooh thing is true too. There was a rumor that in order to get in you had to dress like Winnie the Pooh or one of the characters. I don't know. It was stupid. So Ricky, I look forward to hearing your stories tomorrow, and JK's on Saturday. And for the rest of you, if you want to leave video responses of you telling horrible, horrible lies, you can do that. And I will see you next time.